This is a little maths problem here. It's asking us what's the percentage probability that a student will score more than 80 on a test. And they're telling me that the results of these tests are normally distributed. So that means we're getting a kind of bell curve with there's the mean or the average in the middle. And half of them are scoring less than the mean and half are scoring more than the mean. And that mean point there is 56, that's the midpoint. And the standard deviation is 12. And that standard deviation of 12 is telling us how steep the curve is. How far from the mean do some of the points sit? Now, when I see all of this information here, this is the kind of thing that some students, it puts them into a bit of a cold sweat. And if that's you, don't worry, that's pretty normal. This is some rather tricky maths. What this is asking here is for us to work with the z-score, looking at normal distributions. And so the z-score, well, it's a process that you can just learn the steps using the formula sheet that's given to us in the exam. So I'll show you what those steps are. Now, as I said, don't feel bad if you find this stuff challenging. Lots of students do. So here is our formula for the z-score. The x is the number that we are working with here. That's 80. That's our probability that we're trying to find. That symbol there means the mean. So that's 56. And the symbol on the bottom, that's the standard deviation. And here, that's 12. So our formula is 80 minus 56 divided by 12. And that comes out at 2. Now, having done our little calculation of our z-score, we can then go into the normal distribution table. And whatever that figure is that you've calculated, you've got to work down this column here and find it. Is our number here? Can we find the number 2? Oh, yes, we can. It's there. So we're going to work across this row. And because this is the normal distribution table and our results are normally distributed, the number that we want is in this first column here. So working along our row into that first column, we get to that number there of 0.4472. That's the number we're going to need to use. Okay, so that's our figure from the normal distribution table, having worked out our z-score of 2. Now what we have to do is look at, so that's our kind of percentage chance of this happening. But because this is a normal distribution, it only looks at half of the graph. Everything is based on 0.5 because we're looking at above or below the mean. And we just want to look at, are we going to score more than 80? So we want to see what are the chances of us being actually this side, above 80. So we're going to have to work out that by taking 0.5, so that's the probability of us being at the top completely, minus that 0.4472, and that comes out at 0.0228. Or to turn it into a number in percentage terms, that's 2.28%. That's really tricky. Now, the good news is that these questions are really repetitive. And so once you know how to do one of these, when you recognize this style of question, you just follow these steps and it will get you to the answer. And good news, as you move on through the ACCA qualification, it becomes a lot less mathsy. And so don't worry that you're going to have to do lots of this as you move up the qualification, because that's not really what it's about.